Africa is rising, and we are rising with her. Every day there's a new story, a new challenge, a new discovery, and a new victory. For 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, we bring these to you from Abuja to Accra and from Nairobi to Addis. Network Africa connects the dots, giving you a full picture and bringing the continent closer to you. Network Africa, weekdays at 4:30 p.m. only on Channels Television.
The day begins with news gathering and research.
We need to confirm the story. Directors,
as well as policymakers.
From the business districts to the corporate, the policies, actions, and even inactions of both the fiscal and the monetary authorities make impact.
90% of Nigeria's economy is in the informal sector, just like this market. And take, for example, they're impacted by government policies like inflation rates. Prices keep going up.
While trading is fast and mostly virtual, get the top stories that set your investing agenda.
Beyond Africa, we got you covered. It's a full menu for you every weekday. Business Morning and Business Incorporated, only on Channels Television.
Get right into the front pages, but just before that, look who's here. Hi,
yes, indeed. Hi, Kayode.
The rain couldn't stop you.
Well, it rained storms and trees on my own side, and by the time I got here, it seemed to, just be getting set to rain.
Yeah.
Perhaps it had already rained. You know how the dynamics of rain always
works, right?
But speaking of what is raining, it's also raining defections in the lower chamber.
Absolutely.
17 members of the House of Representatives defect from the ADC to the NDC. Of course, that's only coming on the heels of the defection of Mr. Peter Obi and Alhaji Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso from the ADC to the NDC. What does this mean for the 2027 elections? What does this mean for this group of members of the House of Representatives? Is this an automatic ticket for them, once they get to the House of Representatives? And can they pull off this opposition that will result into victory in 2027? Or is this some form of political suicide? Because there's a huge conversation about the NDC structure, how far-reaching, how present rather it is, throughout the country. But the coming days, of course, will be very interesting. I wish we had more time, to dive into this conversation. But perhaps our guest, our guest newspaper review has some thoughts on this.
We definitely would get into it. We have some of those who defected joining us on this show, and I should say the Senate is also affected. 2 senators moved from the ADC to the NDC. You have to be careful about this, so you don't mix it up.
C.
Exactly. And 1 senator moved from the NNPP to the NDC. So 3 senators affected. But let's get right into the front pages. Mr. Ioakeria is live in our Abuja studio. A member of Nigerian Guild of Editors joins us in a moment as we walk through the big stories on the front pages today. And naturally, the Vanguard is where we start off from. It talks about 2027, and you see the defections, the big story on the front page. Citing crisis, 19 National Assembly members defect to NDC. ADC, NNPP lose 3 seats in Senate as Abaribe Ume Hanga defect. 18 reps defect from ADC, 17 to NDC, 1 joins the APC,
right?
Moving against traffic, you will see. He says Senate configuration now is APC 88, NDC 8, PDP 4.
That's ADC 8.
ADC 8, pardon me, see? Fell into that trap. PDP 4, NDC 3, ABGA 1, Accord 1, and then we have 4 vacant seats. And I must say that the ruling party, the APC and the government, has pointed to this, saying whatever happened to all of the talks about one-party states? So they're saying the fact that these people can move from one party to the other is an indication that there is no one-party state. While those defections say the fact that they are moving from one party to the other is an indication that we're moving towards a one-party state. But whatever the case is, politicians will always follow their interests.
More importantly, what's the strength of those institutions? That's the question we should be asking, especially with regards to how heavily monetized our elections are. And so, look at the party structure of those political parties. How many of them have strong board of trustees, that can pilot the affairs of the party in the case of, a major political crisis? How strong is the structure of those parties throughout the states of a federation? Remember that we have thousands of polling units to address when elections begin. Those are the big concerns. How do we, redirect our electoral process away from money politics to politics of ideology and integrity, such that elections can be conducted without the deployment of sinful funds. Presidential and governorship forms alone are running into 50 million, 100 million. How much more, how the sums that are deployed, to prosecute these elections, when you consider the number of agents, that you deploy to those thousands of polling units. Those agents have to be paid, and we shouldn't even talk about, the other elements, of the elections that also have to be prosecuted with money. And so those are the concerns. And so, and perhaps that's why civil society advocates are still, drumming the beats for, electronic voting, such that these huge funds can be redirected to other areas that are in dire need of, those funds. It reminds me of what one politician would say in Nigeria, that the politics of Nigeria is one of triumph of politics over purpose. So we have so many socioeconomic challenges on our hands, yet you see these funds moving around to areas that they do not necessarily need to go to. If we can spend these much on our elections, what about issues as important as security, as important as out of school children? So those are the issues really. When we talk about a one-party state, it looks more like the move towards a one-party state means the move of resources, of people to manage that one-party state. And so when you look at the other political parties, what's the strength in terms of resources, in terms of numbers, and the people who drive them?
There you go. Lots to chew on, but let's find out how Mr. Carrier is internalizing all of these big stories. Good morning, Mr. Carrier, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Kayode, and Bukola, it's a pleasure to be here.
Mr. Carrier, we are back again. It's almost like a moving train. Moved to the ADC, it didn't work out, and then moved to the NDC. What do you make of it? Particularly the back and forth debate about, okay, it's a one-party state. Well, you see, it's not. You're moving. More importantly, how will the electorate view this? How will they take those who are moving serious? Or is this part of extra points for them to be taken serious?
Well, as I always say, these are interesting times. It is almost like a game of catch me if you can for the opposition political parties. The talk about the one-party state for Nigeria is really rife. It's on the lips of almost everyone. So, but for the leading opposition political parties, particularly the individuals driving those parties, it's a game of catch me if you can. Once there is allegation that certain individuals, particularly Peter Obi, now Kwankwaso have joined him. They formed an alliance to try and drive the direction for the opposition political parties. They'll be moving, and then their followers are also moving. But the rapidity, the pace, the speed of these movements is quite dizzying. As Akpabio said yesterday, the Senate president, that in 1 month, some of these political figures have defected from their political parties for about 2 or 3 times. That is the times that we have found ourselves. Again, as Bukola pointed out, and of course you also quite agreed, it is about the absence of a clear political ideology, a clear, vision, objective for most of the politicians who are in these political parties. So what I see, the reading is that they simply join these political parties and then use them as special purpose vehicles, SPVs, that can move them from one destination to the other, all in a bid to try and realize their individual ambition. But with regards to the development and stability of the democratic process, Nigerians indeed need a very virile and strong opposition party. And the NDC is now the fourth force. We have the APC, you have the PDP and the Labour Party in that order. Then the NDC is there. But the way the rise with what happened at the National Assembly yesterday, 17 House of Reps members joining the ADC, and of course 2 moving over to the NDC, that is a big plus. It simply shows, it's a signal that the NDC is a serious force to be reckoned with by Nigerians ahead of the 2027 general elections. For me, it is a good development. Before May 10, that the names of registered members of political parties will be submitted to INEC. I see more defections, I see more realignment, I see more regrouping, particularly in the camp of the opposition political parties. This is a good development, as I said, and we wait to see. It's a developing story.
Well, I like your description, Mr. Akeria. You say it's a game of catch me if you can. Maybe some people from the ADA, what some Nigerians would like to call ADA party, well, they are still in the group of an association because they haven't been registered successfully by INEC yet. Are they trying to catch the NDC because they are now challenging, one party member, the national secretary, is raising eyebrows over the registration of the NDC, but the party has officially come out to say that, we're not identifying with Mr. Umar Ardo's position on the registration process of the NDC. He's speaking for himself, but we're looking to see in the coming days what this will develop to be. Will it, constitute another court procedure from Mr. Ardo challenging the registration of the NDC, which according to him was done by court order because NDC, like the other parties that applied, did not scale through all of the registration processes, but was registered by INEC through a court order from a Kogi State High Court. But of course, ADA has clarified that it is not in support of Mr. Umar Ardo's position. So if that is trying to catch the NDC following the defection of Mr. Peter Obi and Mr. Kwankwaso, that's another kettle of fish entirely. If it develops beyond this point in the coming days, it will be another interesting conversation. But speaking of interesting conversations, this Nigeria this morning has a no-nonsense headline. Listen to this, Mr. Akeria. Xenophobia. Enough of the nonsense. Senators decry attack on Nigerians. Describe act as barbaric. Warn of sanctions. Set up joint committee to raise issue with South Africa. And there you have it, Mr. Akeria. We saw the senator from Edo State and former chairman of the APC yesterday, calling for stricter measures against South Africa through, a withdrawal of license of the company here in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this? Which way to go in reining in on, the seasonal xenophobic attacks against Nigerians and other nationals in South Africa?
All right, I'll make a quick comment on Umar Ardo's threat to go to court to challenge the registration of the NDC. He should not put himself forward as a fifth columnist. As one of his party members, one of these officials of the ADA also said that is not the position of the party. That is a personal opinion by Umar Ardo. He should not position himself as a cannibal that will be used to consume other political parties. He should rather focus on how his party, the African Democratic Alliance, can be registered instead of looking the way and direction of the Nigerian Democratic Congress. It is already registered. The courts have given judgment to that effect. So he should, as a person, pursue the registration of his party instead of being, because people will think that it's being used, you know, to try and pull down the NDC. But again, I think that will not even succeed. Nigerians are not interested in that at this moment. Now, back to this serious issue of xenophobic attack in South Africa. For more than 10 years, South African youths that between 18 and 30 years, those who were not born during the apartheid, those who do not understand the history of their country, have taken it upon themselves to turn their country into a killing field where they attack other African citizens who reside in South Africa, you know, and strip them of their businesses, strip them of their resources, and in fact kill them on the streets. It's like imposing mob justice on people who legally are resident in South Africa. It is very painful, very, very painful. So as I said, for more than 10 years, this has been ongoing. The role Nigeria specifically played in 1994 to ensure that apartheid crumbles and South Africa as a country becomes an independent state devoid of the apartheid regime. It's not lost on anyone who witnessed those traumatic era, where you have many South Africans, you know, young people like Tambo Mbeki coming to Nigeria, the activists in the African National Congress who even secured scholarship. Many of them were in the University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, Bafemi Awolowo University, and Ahmadu Bello Universities. Nigeria welcomed leaders, the front runners, the activists in the African National Congress, who eventually metamorphosed to become the leaders of the modern South African states. So these attacks, the killings that are going on in South Africa, is regrettable, and I think the countries like Botswana, Tanzania, they have taken a very strong stance against South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa campaigned on taking back the jobs that are currently being done by foreigners in South Africa. It is on that basis that young South Africans actually supported Cyril Ramaphosa as president of South Africa, and that is why he appears, to be tongue-in-cheek in this very, very sad and unfortunate development that is happening in this country. The streets of South Africa are almost like a running battle. Nigerians are a major target. So for me this morning, I support the position of Senator Adams Oshomole, who came very hard yesterday on what Nigerians should do, to reciprocate the South African bad behavior. If countries do not appreciate, countries like Sierra Leone, Liberia, where many Nigerian soldiers also died, fighting rebels in those countries who came to destabilize their countries. It is akin to what has happened in South Africa. Nigeria spent billions of naira supporting the anti-apartheid movement and ensuring that Nelson Mandela was freed and eventually became the first democratically elected president of South Africa. Nigeria should really come hard. MTN is a South African company. DSTV is a South African-owned company. You also have ShopRite that was there. I understand that the franchise of ShopRite is already moved. South Africans are giving it away. But South Africa has so many businesses in this country. Without MTN and DSTV, I wonder where the South African economy will be today. South Africa is not in good diplomatic state with the United States. So if Nigeria, as the biggest black nation on earth, join the US in imposing sanctions on South Africa, I think that country will suffer. So this morning I go with Adams Oshomole and other Nigerians who think that we've had enough of this South African belligerence and the transitions on Nigeria. You can't just be killing Nigerians as if Nigeria have no leadership. And for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is visiting Kenya and other countries, not even saying anything, for me, that to me is not the way to go. The president must lead the charge against what the South Africans are doing to Nigerians. Right. The time to do that is now, and I think that we must mobilize as as a country, as Nigerians, to say enough is enough. We've had enough of this South African misbehavior.
Right, the Nigerian government has called for an investigation into the death of 2 Nigerians some weeks ago in very questionable circumstances. So hopefully we'll get something on that one. And as you said, there's a strong response from the Nigerian government, perhaps from this ad hoc committee, from the Senate that's going to be visiting, from the president. He's still in France right now, but he'll be in Kenya and Rwanda, which is in the neighborhood, at least in Africa. But Mr. Akeria, we have to thank you for your time on the program today. I'm sure it's not raining as much as it's raining. It's not raining in Abuja as much as it's raining here in Lagos. So I wish you the very best today.
It rained yesterday. It rained yesterday.
Ah, I see. So you got it first. Then we're getting our own share. Mr. Akeria, member of Nigerian Guild of Editors.
Some are ascribing it to climate change. Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah. So we have to keep close watching that. Thank you very much once again, sir. Have a great day.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
A quick break now, and when we return, we have a big conversation. Stay with us.